Well, power rankings for going into week 4. And sorry for how I'm going to sound in this video and probably for the next 3 months. I just got my braces pulled and I'm currently wearing the retainer, and it's gonna make me sound like this. Sorry, but that's just how that's just how it's gonna have to be. Not gonna stop me from making videos. So anyway, but power rankings week 4. So number 10, let's start this off. Number 10, I've got the LA Rams. The Rams. Now, I didn't do a reaction video with the Eagles. I just ran out. I ran out of time. So sorry that couldn't come out. But this is going to basically be my reaction, especially when we get into the Eagles later on in the power rankings. But the Rams haven't really been in the top 10. I think they were last week, but that's just because they're undefeated. They've looked pretty good. They've looked good. They played well. They did. Really good. They played a really good game with the Eagles. They impressed me. They were about to win. They were, and then we blocked them. That was awesome. I wish I could have recorded that reaction to that. Like see how much I was spazzing out when that block happened. But yeah, that block, yeah, that second half really blew it up. Defense and the offense started playing well in the game. So yeah, so that's what we have. And Rams, they impressed me. They impressed me really well. And really what? They impressed me. And they're gonna stay in the top 10. They're 2-1. We'll see if they go 3-1. They're playing the Colts this week. I think the Colts will win, but we'll see. This will be a real test to see how good the Colts actually are this season. But the Rams, number 10. So yeah, number 9. You got the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. The Seahawks are better than the Rams because they won. They won this week. They dominated their opponent. This has been a team that I was wanting to put in the top 10. I probably would have put in the top 10 if they beat the 49ers week 1. They would probably have stayed in my top 10, especially after that game against Pittsburgh. Seattle's number 9. First time making the top 10. They should, if they keep playing the way they're playing, I would say they're probably going to be higher up next week if they can beat the Cardinals. But number 9, Seahawks, really good defense. I really like seeing this team play. This defense is insane, and the offense is starting to get some momentum up. They're starting to score. Granted, it was against the Saints, but they did beat the Steelers 2 weeks ago, and they almost beat the 49ers week 1. So I was debating putting them in my preseason power rankings, but they were almost they're right there for me. But now they finally have earned their way into the top 10. They're 2-1, much deserved top 10 in my opinion. And yeah, we'll see what McDonald is able to do with this Seahawks team in his second year. We'll see if they can maybe win the division. Maybe. I mean, yeah, the Rams were really good, and the 49ers just keep winning for some reason. But yeah, even though they're beat up right now. Yeah, we'll get into 49ers later. So yeah, Seahawks going at number 9, and there we go. Number 8, I have the Commanders getting a big win with Marcus Mariota. Not what I expected. I didn't expect a blowout. I expected the Commanders to win just because of how bad the Raiders have been playing. But I did not expect the Commanders to win as big as they did, especially with Mariota. Jayden Daniels, maybe, but he wasn't looking too good. And his knee sprain, we'll see what happens with that. See if he comes in for this next week. But playing the Falcons, so that's going to be an interesting game. But yeah, we got number 8, the Commanders. Marcus Mariota playing great, defense playing great. That was against the Raiders, but I did not expect Mariota to play as good as he did. Commanders, number 8. We'll see if they get higher. We'll see. They'll definitely go higher if they can beat the Falcons, but I'm predicting a little bit of an upset there. So stay tuned for my predictions tomorrow. But yeah, but the Commanders, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see how well they play without Jayden Daniels, if they're playing without Jayden Daniels this next week. But yeah, number 7, I have the Ravens. The Ravens dropping because of that bad game against the Lions, who we'll get to. But look, the Ravens, was it a bad game? They're 1-2, and they've got a gauntlet of games coming up. They got to play the Chiefs next week, then the Texans, which should be an easy game for them. But then they got to play the Rams. Not an easy slate coming up, and they're 1-2 already. They so far have lost to the bad teams and beat the good teams. That's not a good sign if you're Baltimore. I expect Baltimore to drop. Now I expect them to win this game against the Chiefs, but I expect them to start dropping out of the top 10 depending on how they play. I mean, they got the Texans, so that should be a win, but the Rams, that might not be. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Baltimore. This isn't a good sign, though, if you're the Ravens. Losing to the good teams, that's not good if you want to make the Super Bowl. Number 6, you got the Lions, alright? The Lions. I was originally going to put the 49ers here, but the 49ers are losing pieces badly, and I'll talk about them a little bit right now. The 49ers should be in the top 10 as a 3-0 team. I was going to, but I decided not to. The team is too injured. They are. And I also kind of forgot about the Lions winning too, so Lions take their spot. But the 49ers are too injured. They are. And this isn't looking good. This isn't going to be sustainable. Mac Jones isn't going to play this good when everyone else is gone. It's just not going to work. So I'm expecting a collapse. Maybe not this week. They're playing the Jaguars. I think they should win that one. But if they continue to lose pieces, that is not going to be good if you're the 49ers. Now, to the actual number 6 team, the Lions. The Lions have impressed me. They have. Alright, they actually have impressed me. Okay, they are a really good team. Yeah, they didn't play good against Green Bay, but they dominated against the Bears, and then they actually go up and beat the Ravens. Yeah. So, the Lions, they're not going away. Clearly, they were able to get over the loss of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. So that's a good sign if you want the Lions to potentially maybe make the NFC Championship game this year, or maybe make the Super Bowl. Bad end of the season last year, but yeah, it's getting to the point to where it's going to be probably do or die in the next couple of years. Jared Goff's getting older, so we'll see what happens. But the Lions are at number 6 right now. We'll see if they can sustain this. They look like they should this season, but they're not getting injured like the 49ers are, so we'll see. But Lions number 6. Now, number 5. I have the Packers. Yes, they drop a couple spots after their loss. Yes. Would they probably be number 1 or 2? Would be probably number 2 or 3 if they had beaten the Browns. even with that bad game. Yes, but they didn't beat the Browns. However, I expect them to immediately bounce back from this. They're playing the Cowboys. They're going to show Jerry Jones that they won the trade. They're going to want to show Jerry Jones that they won the trade. And they're going to play, my predictions, they're probably going to play Micah Parsons full-time in that game. And that's just going to be a tear. Cowboys are now without CeeDee Lamb. That's not good. I don't know if he's going to be playing, who knows. But he wasn't playing against the Bears, and it definitely showed. So, yeah. Packers are going to dominate the Lions easily. I only brought them down a little bit because they lost to a team like the Browns, who they should have won. But this is probably, in my opinion, their bad game. Every team has one of those kind of games where that's a game they should win, but they don't win because of reasons. I think every team, that's why every team has a couple losses at the end of the season and not going undefeated, even though some teams look like they could. So, yeah, I think that's what this game was for the Packers. They may win, they may lose a couple more, like maybe the Eagles, or maybe they'll lose one to the Lions or Vikings. We'll see what happens, but right now, the Packers, they still look really good. I expect them to be a top 5 team still, and they'll continue to move up, in my opinion. Number 4, you have the Colts. The Colts, I put them at number 10 week 1. After week 1. Going into week 2. Week 2, they win again. I put them at like number 7 or 8. Then they win again. They're number 4. Why are they number 4? Because they're that good. They're 3-0. They have looked good against teams that should be good. Okay, yeah. Now the Titans. The Titans aren't a very good team, and neither are the Dolphins, but the Broncos are the biggest one I'm talking about right here. The Colts have shown that they are a top 5 team so far. Now they're playing the Rams. That should be a fun game. Because the Rams are also, in my opinion, close to a top 5 team. They just kind of got caught an unlucky game against the Eagles. Talk about that. We'll see. This will be the biggest test, I think, for the Colts. The Broncos may not even be as good as we thought. This is going to be the big test this week right here. Rams, Colts. That's the biggest test. So, we'll see if they can win that game, or it look really competitive and like maybe barely lose. If they lose by like 3 or something, then yeah, they're good. They're a top 5 team in my opinion, and they're probably going to be one of the best teams in the AFC if they can go toe to toe with teams like the Rams. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's all up in the air. I'm predicting the Colts to win because they're undefeated, but we'll see what happens with the Colts game. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Number 3, I have the Chargers. They're a top 3 team. They're undefeated in their division. They're 3-0 in their division. They have beaten everyone at least once. That is going to help the Chargers win that division, and that might be the division that wins the AFC. Either the North or the West. Alright? Maybe the South if the Colts are just insane. And maybe the East if the Bills are insane. But the Chargers have more competition. And they've beaten everyone in their division once already. Moving forward, that is going to be a major help. They're playing an easy cupcake game against the Giants. They should go 4-0. If they don't, and they lose that game, it's probably going to be because that was just their one bad game this year. Or maybe two. Sometimes teams have two. But it's still going to help, even if they lose this week. Because they're not playing a division game. They're not even playing a conference game. So, the Chargers, they're a top 3 team. They might be a number 2 team in the future, depending on what happens with the Bills and Eagles. But, more on them, the Chargers are still a good team. I did not expect them to be this good, but they are this good. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Number 2, I have the Bills. The Bills beating the Dolphins in a closer game than most predicted. I say most because a few people did, but Bills still won. Bills are 3-0. They just are. They're just like that. They're 3-0. I don't remember the last time the Bills were 3-0. I actually don't. I don't think they have been really. Maybe they were last year. I don't remember, or a couple years ago. I don't remember. 3-0 is still something that rarely teams get to. 6 teams this year have gotten there. Have gotten to 3-0. Could have been more, but point is, the Bills are still a really good team. Dolphins, they're getting a little bit better. They are. So maybe down the line they might win. But the Bills, they're still the best team in the AFC East. They're still a top 1 or 2 or 3 team in the AFC. And they're going to continue to be. They are. Like Josh Allen has basically been extended for life. He has like a 13 years on his deal. So, I mean, like he's pretty much going to be a Bill for life at this point. They're just going to throw all the contracts at him to keep him a Bill. Same with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And probably the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But the Bills are still, they're number 2. Did they look great against Dolphins? Not as good as we've seen. They still put up 30 points. But they still didn't look as good as we saw, like, say, against the Ravens when they put up 41. No, the defense looked good. No, but the offense did. Or against the Jets when both played great, but that's because sorry, this is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to deal with this all for probably for the entire football season almost until December. The Jets. It's gonna be hard to pronounce. The Jets are the Jets. They are. And the Bills proved that. The Bills have proven they're the better team. They're going to continue to be. That's why they're number 2. Number 1, the Eagles. Now this is going to be my... This first part of this is going to be basically my reaction, since I didn't do a reaction video already. Tale of 2 halves in that game. Big time. You have the first half, where our defense allowed the Rams to score field goals, but not touchdowns, except for one to Devontae Adams. But other than that, they only allowed field goals. That's already good defensive play. Because if the Rams got all those touchdowns, there would be no comeback to speak of. Because the offense did not look good. All the criticisms that people have had about the Eagles this season of, oh, Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, they were right that first half. And I'll be honest, after we fumbled at the beginning of the second half, and the Rams scored a touchdown and made it 26-7, I stopped watching the game. I turned on NFL Network and just watched NFL Game Day Live until the Bills came back 21-26. I'm like, okay, offense is back. We have an offense again. Good. So, the offense. But yeah, that first half, that was just that was embarrassing to watch. That was. I can't believe we're the defending champions and our offense looks like that. That was just awful. However, that second half, us storming back. After the Rams got that touchdown, no more points. No more points. No more. Over. No more points for the Rams. 2 blocked field goals in that second half. Both by, I think, different guys. But, the main one. The one that gave us the game, the ender. Which, this week was just the week of blocked field goals for some reason. But, and extra points. And even a blocked punt. The Eagles still won. We're 3-0. Yes. Could we be just as easily 0-3? And all the critics are going to be saying that. Oh, we could just be easily 0-3 as we are 3-0. Yes, they're right. However, what a lot of people who don't understand, especially with teams that don't do this, is it really doesn't matter how you win. All that matters is you win. We're 3-0 because we're 3-0. Because we found a way to win, even when it looked like we shouldn't. We still won. We did. Now, is this the makings of another mid-season collapse like we had 2 years ago? I hope not. I do not want to ever see what happened in 2023 happen again. At least not in the next 5 years. But the Eagles are still a good team. We will continue to be a good team. And we're not going away. We're 3-0 and we're playing the undefeated Buccaneers. Another pretty lucky team who find ways to win it in the last minute. We'll see whose luck runs out this week. It's going to be the Buccaneers. But more on that tomorrow in my predictions. So, that's my power rankings for this week. We'll see what happens next week. But the Eagles, we're not going anywhere. Yeah, but anyway, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And see you in the next video.